Please excuse the mess. The sonar feed appears to be having a few difficulties.
Here we are live on episode number 116
of
Sonar Feed. Surprisingly enough, here we are 2 years later-ish.
Yeah.
How many years later? Still going.
Yep.
We have a couple of special guests tonight. One of them is an long time, I guess not old, but a long time fan, friend, etc. of the show. Contributor. And then the other one has joined us a couple times now as well. So again, welcome in. So my name is Aaron Riley, aka Sonar Riley on Twitter. Across from me is my co-host and anchor, the love of my life, my Sonar Feed life.
Mi Vida Seattle, at Mi Vida Seattle. Hugo Garcia at Mi Vida Seattle.
Next to Hugo, so to his left, your right, my right, something like that.
Something like that.
Kyle Girvan 0.
Yep, Girvan 0 on Twitter.
Yep. Let's go.
And then next to me is El Presidente Dos,
Yeah.
now El Presidente Uno. Paul Cox, aka Blue-Eyed Buddha.
That's me.
On Twitter.
That's me. Yep.
The E of Alliance Council ex-presidency.
Ex-presidents, yes.
The current S2 owned
past
co-owner.
president, I think you say, but past sounds like you're dead.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I like that.
Pretty soon you'll be emeritus, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a title. That's like honorary. But nobody's offered anything.
You were the
like that
first
so
president,
far,
right,
so.
of the council?
Yeah. Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's my claim to fame, right? You only
The
have
trailblazer.
only one person's ever going to be the
There you
first.
That's a pretty cool one, though.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I would take that one all
Yep.
day.
And then you're the current president of S2 Trust. Sorry, not S2 Trust. I apologize. The SCT.
Yeah, Sounders Community
Yeah,
Trust.
Standards
right.
Community Trust. Thank you. Yeah, perfect. Good.
Yep.
Well, welcome in. Thank you for coming in.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So tonight, we're just going to kind of have a little bit of fun. We're going to talk a little bit. We got to talk a little bit. We haven't done a show since the big hand off the ball or throw the ball controversy. So we got to talk about that for a second, just for Hugo, just because he had some good stories from that.
Move on.
Move on.
Just to
Let's
turn that
move
tide.
on.
It really is.
I just posted a photo. It's like,
I
finally
saw
had
that.
the courage to post my photos from my trip last weekend.
My doctor, when I took my son to the doctor today, and he goes, runner pass. I'm like, oh my god. You know, it's like, I had customers call me up the day afterward and go, what the hell did your team do to me? You know, I'm just like, oh, and these are people from like Missouri and Mississippi, and like, I mean, the people all dove in anyways.
Dude.
We'll talk a little bit about that, maybe not. Maybe you don't want to, but then we're gonna talk about S2 practice a little bit.
Absolutely.
Today. You guys went to S2 practice.
Yep.
I couldn't.
Heard it was warm out there.
Oh man, breaking a sweat.
Yeah, it was horrible.
All the time. Yeah.
It
You guys
was.
brought that heat in here.
Yeah.
Are you serious? It was hot.
Oh yeah.
It was cold.
It was freezing.
It was
Okay,
a cold.
good.
It was a cold
'Cause
sweat.
it was
yeah,
warm
yeah.
when I left the house, and
Yeah.
then the wind came in.
No, it
No,
was
it
cold.
was it was played on
It was
field
cold.
3 in
Yeah.
the shade.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, if you're not moving, especially with that cross.
Three
like
is
that comes
closest to
down.
the building, so our backs were right to the building, and in the shade, there was no sun. And
There was a little
cold.
breeze coming.
Yeah, it was cold.
Oh man,
it was
Yeah.
flat out cold.
it was
great.
chilly.
All right, and then we'll just kind of catch up because tonight I've got a flight at 5 in the morning, so we're gonna cut off at like 8:30, 8:45, be done, so I can go home and go to bed and pack actually too. 'Cause I had all day today, so what did I do? I didn't do any of the work.
No,
I
right,
suppose
right.
I worked on Girl Scout
I
cookies
know
all
what you
day.
did. This
Yeah.
is what you did.
That's pretty much all I did today was Girl Scout cookies. Okay, anyway, so let's talk a little bit about what's been going on. This is our history, our tradition, since the
Yeah.
last time we saw each other. Do you want to start, or should we ask our guests
That's
to
a
start?
guys. Gas, always a guys.
Kyle,
what
you
been
were
up to?
on about a month ago.
I was with Rolled On. Yeah.
a month
I
ago.
Came on. Yeah.
Who's that guy again? Who's that kid again?
He's
Chucho.
he's a young gentleman from the UAW.
Yep, the UAW.
The UAW that the Sounders drafted.
Yep.
Currently down in Arizona with them. Great follow on Twitter. He had a couple cool pictures from down in Arizona today. So
He's living the dream right now. I mean, that
Yeah.
kid. What a poised young man.
Dude,
yeah, no,
focused,
he's
focused.
Yeah, he's awesome.
If I can use one word, it's focus.
Can I get one of the whatever?
Kyle would like one of these,
Thank
our
you.
special, our Golazo and Sparkle Donkey.
Shout
got
out to
it.
Golazo.
Represent.
We don't get any money for it, but
Another round of it?
sure, I'll have one.
Why
Thanks.
not?
No,
Not for
around.
him. Not for him. All right. So, but that was a great episode.
That was
I mean,
great, yeah.
And it was funny because then that weekend was my birthday. We went out to the first practice.
Yeah.
And who was it came up? Brian Schmetzer,
Schmetzer,
Coach.
yeah.
If you're watching, Coach, hi.
How's it going, Coach?
What up, Coach?
Came up to us and said, goes, "How'd you get him on the show?" And I'm like, for like the next hour, I was like
Stressed
looking at,
about
I was
it,
like,
yeah.
Christian, I was looking at Christian going,
Sorry,
shit,
buddy.
Did I get you in trouble?
Yeah,
and I asked
sorry,
him
buddy.
afterwards, and he goes, no, I didn't get in trouble. But I'm like, oh, thank God. 'Cause all I could think of was like, I didn't want to get the new guy who just signed.
He's such a great interview, though.
It
was
oh
great.
my God.
Yeah, some of the interviews before, from the week of training up at Starfire,
Yeah.
you watch those. It's amazing to think how young he is and how well he presents himself,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
how composed he is in an interview, and his focus and the things he talks about are great. That's a nice thing too to see, is that his mind is in the right place.
Yeah,
when
he's focused,
Yeah.
dude. So
when he
focused.
races. So yeah, expect good things from Christian.
And life's good for you?
Things are going great.
Good.
Kids are a little sick, but things are going great.
Yeah. But
they'll get over it.
You're back on night shift though, right? So this is like the last time for
I
a while.
am, yeah.
No.
The holiday made this possible.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That was the cool part about it, is that when you reached out Saturday or whatever it was, it was like, sweet,
Yeah,
you're off.
it's
so.
just every once in a while I get a Monday off.
Okay.
I got weekends off finally,
Okay.
but that Monday is hard to come by.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out. We're gonna, because it's always a good time to have you on here.
Absolutely.
We're gonna
Thanks.
come back to you in a
Thank
few
you.
minutes because you're gonna have a lot to talk about
Oh, yeah.
on the future. Paul, how about you? What have you been up to since last? You were on with the group. It was you and Angelica and our lovely friend Kyle down. Not you, Kyle.
No.
Other Kyle. Down from Portland.
Kyle Clavon,
Yep.
as he goes
Yep.
by his secret name, his
Secret
secret
name.
agent name.
Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't have a 00 number yet, but he's working on it.
He's working on it.
He does have a license to shoot down there in Portland, as long as they're wearing timbers gear. No, just working on trust stuff. Trying to get things set up, trying to figure out what kind of events we're going to have. We're trying to build our working relationship with the club. How many things are they going to do?
Yep.
That's a production of the club. How many things are we, going to do? And then chasing the kid around, working, and the usual stuff.
Nice,
so
man.
yeah.
Beautiful kid, dude.
Oh,
Love those
she's
photos, man.
she's
She's
cute.
getting big.
Yep, she looks like her mom, so that's good. Yep.
All right, good. How about you? What have you been up to?
Oh, dude, enchiladas.
Enchiladas. Homemade?
Homemade. My pops, they take the tortillas, they put them through a hot oil, basically kind of like flash fry them.
Yeah.
Then they dip them in the sauce. And my mom's enchilada sauce. This is they call them enchiladas.
Keep it PG-13, all right?
I know.
Boy. Yeah.
The
Your wife
enchiladas-
Some
wiping a
food
little
porn going
drool.
on right now.
They're called enchiladas suizas, which is Swiss enchiladas because of the green sauce and the white cheese that you use for it. But the sauce that my mom makes, which is a salsa verde, she actually mixes a couple of chilies and she mixes it with cream cheese, man.
Really?
Yes, that's her secret ingredient.
No way.
Way.
You heard it here
way.
first on Sonar.
Cream cheese.
So
with
what how do you
cheese
feel
will
about
change
raisins
your
and
life.
enchiladas?
Raisins in it?
fancy.
For real.
I mean,
fancy.
I could do it, but
Yeah.
it depends on maybe with some sweet potato and chorizo.
Yeah, exactly. That it's to cut
Something to balance
some
it.
of
Yeah,
exactly. Because
absolutely.
I had one. It was this is like 20 years ago, or whatever, 15 years ago. A friend of mine's wife made it,
Okay.
and it was like I was like, why the hell would you put raisins in enchilada?
Right.
But
That little nuggets of sweetness
it
right
was
in
really,
there, right?
and you had the hot
Little
spice
pop
and a little
of
bit of
that
that.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And I was like,
Yeah,
so the
sounds
cream
fancy.
cheese though, I
oh
like
yeah,
that
dude.
idea.
It's great, but it's in the sauce itself.
You know, how long have I known you? Like 20 years, 30
Something
years,
like
something like
that.
that. Yeah. How many times have you invited me over to your mom's for dinner?
It's my mom's, man.
I was just hitting him up
I'm
when
like,
I saw him too.
friends,
Hey,
when I hang out with,
hey,
my,
what-
with my parents.
I like your dad. I met your dad. Your dad's
Yeah,
come here.
He's good people. Yeah,
He
he
is.
has been in the show. So.
I'll buy him tequila
Not on the
next
show,
time
but
he
he's been
comes.
here.
I'll
Yeah.
buy him tequila next time
All
he
right,
comes.
man. I'll invite you guys for sure.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys know ahead of time.
All right.
I'll let you guys know ahead of time.
News, enchiladas.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, you did invite me to one of your parties that I couldn't
Yep,
attend
yep.
because I had other
Oh,
family
dude, once you
commitments.
once you
I
don't
know.
make the invite, then
Yeah,
that's it. You're back
it's
on the D
over.
It's
list.
been
I know.
I
Yeah.
tried,
I had good reasons.
Does he
I think.
really want to hang out? Not
Yeah,
really.
no, I strictly fill in. He's
Don Gama was not
All
happy.
right.
No, but yeah, that's getting ready for the season, man. Getting ready.
Super Bowl. Can we talk about that for a
Yeah,
second?
yeah,
or no?
sure. Yeah, we
You
can talk
you
about
went
it.
again.
Yep, I went
year,
down
year
there.
two.
I had a blast. It was a great trip.
The pictures were great, even though it was kind of
Yep.
like.
The Vine videos were going point. I was
Yeah.
just sending them nonstop.
Yep.
It was fun,
Star
dude.
Lord, that was so
yeah,
awesome.
Star Lord.
Oh, that
Got
was
it.
awesome.
That was
Got a
meta.
selfie.
because
Randomly running to
Jesse
Chris
in the
Pratt.
audience
How
here.
cool.
So awesome.
Jesse and your brother and like 5 other people tweeted.
Yeah,
I
dude.
just saw Hugo on
TV
NFL.
with
Yeah.
Star Lord,
And
yeah,
I'm
with
gonna
Pratt.
beat him in a punch.
I got caught taking a selfie with him on live national TV.
What are the odds that you would get caught taking a selfie?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, what are the odds of that?
It's a numbers game, right?
Come on,
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet there's pictures of you on Google Earth taking selfies.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
People be like, did you see the Google Earth card? No. I was too busy doing this.
But it was so much fun. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna go search now. I'm gonna go and search tonight.
You know, actually, it's probably on his Facebook. You look, there'll be the Google Earth cars behind you. Back here. Boom. Dude, there was a Google Earth car. What?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that was epic.
But that was a great trip, though.
It was an awesome trip, man.
Okay, so just
I flew down to Vegas, stayed there a couple nights before, just because the hotels were so much cheaper, and then met up with a buddy down there Friday night, and then we drove off Saturday morning. Stayed in the most scariest motel I've ever stayed in my life, dude.
in Phoenix.
In Phoenix, like, and
Did
I
you
grew
stay
up
at
in a
the-
rough
you stay at the
neighborhood.
It was like south side of town.
It was it is. Dude,
Kinda sketchy.
It was sketchy, dude.
Kinda
Like,
sketchy, yeah.
We decided to
Phoenix
not
has some
stay
bad
there.
neighborhoods.
Yeah,
God, they
yeah,
do.
and that was definitely one of them, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Was this the hotel that you told me about?
It was a motel right by the airport.
Yeah, yeah.
Motel 6.
Yeah.
It was scary, man. The bed sheets had 3 holes from cigarette burns.
Yeah, those are probably the good ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They had a
They brought out the
sign.
fine linen for
Pretty
you.
much,
yeah.
dude.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
scary. They had a sign inside on the door that said, "Lock your deadbolt and the latch for your own security, please." I mean, yeah, it was bad. My buddy, he was so grossed out. He decided not to take a shower or go to the bathroom. 'Cause he was like,
That's when
dude,
you go to the Burger King and use the sink. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was that bad, dude. So just after the Super Bowl, we decided to just drive straight back to Vegas instead and find a hotel there
Yeah.
instead of staying there.
Well, yeah.
But the game was, it was an amazing game. It was a fun game, back and forth. It was like 2 heavyweights, haymaker after haymaker.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have to go into the finish.
No,
because-
I'd like to. I just got to do it.
Okay.
Pass or run.
You run.
Yeah,
Every
right.
time.
You
Every
always
time.
run.
Every time.
Yeah.
I've watched all of the, and I like the analytical part of it. I've watched all the overheads of it, the stops, and all the done all that, and I can totally see why it makes sense the way they did it, and where the guy was. It was a pick, right? It was a perfect pick.
Well, and the
the
theory
guy-
is that you've got 3 downs.
Right.
You have 1 timeout.
25 seconds.
If you
roughly.
run the ball and something bad happens, say
Yeah.
you string out the line and a guy's running around
Yeah.
back there and it
Yeah.
takes several seconds to tackle
Still
him,
got a
then the
timeout.
clock is still running,
Yeah.
so you got to burn the 1 timeout. Now you really got 1 more play.
Right.
Right?
Oh, then you can do a quick
That's
pass.
the
and
theory.
then- yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That's the theory. Sooner or later, in the first 2 plays,
Yeah.
one of the first 2 has to be a pass.
Right. Correct.
But I mean, as a neutral, because I don't really consider myself too much of a 12, or
Yeah.
I really don't care about the Patriots at all.
Or football at all, right? Are you a big football
No,
fan?
I like football,
Okay.
but I don't really follow necessarily a single team. As a neutral, that was a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, yeah,
close
yeah.
the whole time.
Dude, it was
Both
epic.
teams were going out.
It had to be better than last year's.
Oh,
if you were a
definitely.
neutral and
Definitely. It
you
was
know by
terrible.
about
It was a blowout.
15
Yeah.
minutes in, you're gonna be like, all right, this is
I mean,
boring. I'm
yeah.
just watching for the ads now.
And then you had Left Shark, so that was kind of cool.
Left Shark was
Yeah.
awesome.
You got Left Shark, yeah.
And those
seen it
beach
live.
balls. Those beach balls were
Dude,
inflated
I was
well.
really hoping that tiger, whatever lion that she was riding, was mechanical.
crazy, man.
But it turned out to be
Yeah,
a puppet.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was crazy. The halftime show
Voltron
was far
stuff.
way better than last year.
Yeah.
Though they were really, security wasn't as intense as last year. This year,
Really?
you pretty much just only one screen. Last year they had 3 separate security stations
It's
you
gotta
had
be
to go
New York
through.
versus Arizona.
And
Oh, yeah.
but there was nothing there. I mean, you just pretty much walked right in like the Irish guys that walked in.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Those 2 guys.
crazy.
You heard about those 2 guys? They went,
Yeah,
those
Irish guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
What's funny about that is I had a buddy of mine at work who, actually I knew at least 10 or 12 guys that went and didn't have tickets. They just were going to try to get them or whatever. And I told my buddy, I'm like, dude, if you just keep hanging around the stadium, wait for your opportunity, at
Yeah.
some point you act like you know exactly what you're doing,
What
when
you're
you're
doing.
supposed to be
Just
doing
walk
it.
in.
Just walk in.
Yeah.
Or sneak in the night before and just sleep there overnight. You'll find a place to do. No,
Yeah, find a safe,
seriously.
safe spot.
And he's like, no. And then sure enough, dudes are sneaking in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
That's
all
right.
they did was act like they were
Yep.
with this group that was
Yep.
going through, and they were
People
in.
don't
Happens
ask
every
questions.
time.
Yeah.
Happens
yeah.
every time. Every time.
Yep.
Absolutely. Real quick, I want to know how Girvan feels about being the new kid on the block. I've
Yeah.
been on here before.
Yeah, he's been on more than me.
Yeah,
I think.
I've been on here.
Yeah, he's
I was
yeah.
on what episode?
He was on here before
10?
I was
Yeah,
on here.
within the first
10?
10.
He was
Within-
on here
And
before
then-
I was on
yeah,
here.
and
Yeah.
then I've been on a couple episodes.
Yeah, in fact, and to be honest, I mean, when we look at the future, when we look at the way we've done the youth kids, the academy kids, Roldan, all that comes from you. I mean, we like to think that we do a good job, but the reality is the connections you have are really why that happens. So
It's not
Yeah.
me. You just gotta ask. That's all.
Well, but
These
see-
kids are accessible. You
Yeah.
just gotta ask.
Right.
That's all it
But
is.
you're the one
I don't
who-
have any
You're the
special
one that
access.
like
or,
knows.
no.
No
but you're
joke,
a
you know?
personable person who likes them.
Yeah.
And you're almost like a Catholic priest. You like the talking to the little voice. Oh wait a minute. Was
That's a
that bad?
terrible
Did I
way to
call
put it, though.
that?
Yeah.
Too soon, man.
Okay,
Too soon.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was bad.
They're still
Look at that.
apologizing for that Inquisition. So. That's hundreds of years. So yeah, way too soon.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm joking about that, but it is something that you're right. It's not difficult. You're
No,
on
right.
special
It's just
access.
interacting with them. All
Right.
of them are real open to
Yeah.
interacting. It's just a matter of making
Right.
the effort to talk to them.
Yeah.
That's all.
So we appreciate that. You've been
No,
you're
don't
old.
downplay it too much though, because there is a certain history of, like, if a kid hears, oh, well, this guy's asking me to do this. Oh yeah, I know that guy. He's all right.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because the
No,
work
I
you put in the
appreciate that,
past.
yeah.
So it does.
Appreciate that.
Definitely.
It does. No, it's not like
Absolutely.
the door's open to anybody to do that.
Right.
Right.
And I think we've shown, at least I hope we have, when we bring in a guest like that, we are pretty much
Accommodating, yeah.
We are very
Try to
accommodating.
do
But we
that.
also try and make sure that the show's a little bit more, age appropriate. And again, as a dad, I ask all my dad questions
Right,
every
right.
time because I don't want to focus just on the one thing. I want to know
And
more
it's
about
nice.
the kid.
It's nice to ask some questions that they don't get every day at
Right.
And
interviews. So,
as
right.
the Latino of the show, I asked all the prevalent Latino questions about tacos.
tacos or burritos.
It's a must. It's a must. It's a must.
You're a hell of a token, brother.
I got one job to do, so I know how to do it.
All right, well, that's good. So that's Super Bowl. Welcome back. So the last thing I want to do before we get into like S2 and
Yeah.
practice and camps and all that good stuff is we did our voice of S2. You did a voice of
I
S2
did.
as well.
I did, yes.
So one of the best, so we do the show and we have a blast.
Without the sparkle.
We,
Ooh, that's good.
we,
Good choice.
Yeah, dude.
Good choice.
we
Oh,
were
that's
stone
good.
cold sober
Yeah,
when we did that.
Yeah.
We
We were actually.
because when we do the show, we usually have a drink here. But we went into this whole thing.
Right.
We went into this whole thing. We had dinner. We rehearsed.
Guys.
Yeah, it's tacos.
Oh, you guys have tacos?
Yeah,
had
we had
tacos
we had-
before
we had
we
chicken
rehearsed.
tacos. Yeah,
That was
my
a
wife-
secret.
Yeah.
That was
See,
a
that's
secret
two,
to
that's two
success.
things. You guys not only wore suit tops, because I know you weren't wearing suit bottoms,
No.
and you had tacos, man. I should have thought of both of those. Tacos puts you in the mood for that.
Dude.
That's
It was
that's like the
perfect.
primer to it.
was.
Yeah, that's
so
perfect.
he wore jeans. I wore my pajama
PJs.
bottoms
Yeah.
with my
awesome.
dress shirt and my
Suit
jacket.
But it looked good on video. So.
Right, it did.
Right.
Yeah, you could. I almost wanted to do a behind the scene picture, but totally forgot
From
about
the
doing
side
it.
or
Dude,
something
actually,
to
I
show
should have
the
done like a
PJ.
snap
Yeah.
or something.
If the
But
boys
what-
are comfortable, then you're going to be comfortable. Is
Exactly.
that the theory there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Pretty
all
much.
right, all right.
But pretty much one of the funnest things I've done in
Me
a long
too,
time.
man.
I mean,
It
that
was
was unbelievable.
We did a few takes and it was fun. We're like, well, let's do that again. Let's try this. Let's go there. It was awesome.
I got to
man.
say, I'm really happy that they followed through with that, because Andrew Opakowitz had told me about that months ago. And he's like, "What would you think? We're thinking about outsourcing this, and we're going to have like somebody volunteer and just do it." And we talked about it. I don't even remember whose idea it was to have like 2 or 3 rotating teams. He's like, "Do you think people would apply for that?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, people would apply for
Oh,
that."
yeah.
No question.
So it's cool that they're reaching out to the community for
Yeah,
that.
it's just stuff like that with the little. You don't see that anywhere else.
Right,
It's a cool
right.
little way to involve the
Right.
community.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And it's
'cause-
fun to see people like these two on video, and you get to see their deal.
And you know what
It's
else?
just-
Sometimes
it's
you read
awesome.
these stories about these guys that are broadcasters,
Yeah.
right? And they'll literally say the way they started was calling a game while they're up in the stands, and they had a recorder, and they would sit there and
Turned it
just
in,
call
yeah.
the game,
Like,
and they would
so
listen
are
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, you
Like
never know.
Russ,
Maybe
he won a contest when he was a kid.
yeah, maybe they'll
Yeah.
find somebody that's like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that switch careers that did that.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree.
Yeah, the Mariners had Ken Levine called for
Oh.
several years early, and then he came back after a while, and I think he's probably still working for California, but the guy's a comedy writer,
Yep.
but he just loved baseball, and so
Oh,
he would
that's
go
cool.
and sit in the
Yeah.
stands and call games, and eventually got a job doing it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I just think it's so cool that the club is willing to go ahead and take this flyer on it, because you never know.
Yeah, you're
And
completely right.
it might be 6 years before we find anybody that's any good, but what if you find somebody like 2 or 3 years later they're on
Right.
ESPN
Right.
because they're that good?
Who would have been undiscovered?
Yeah, it could
otherwise.
happen.
That kinda hurts.
Right.
Absolutely.
What if it takes 6 years?
Well, I'm just
What
saying.
if it takes 5 years? What if it took the first video they put up there?
You might strike lightning and get it the first year, but we all know what the odds of that happening.
0. No, anyways, that was a blast.
It was
fun.
good.
I
It
can't
was
wait
cool.
to see.
That's the thing. That's the thing is that we had a blast doing our
Yeah.
show. I did mine with Christian Cadena,
Yep.
a good friend of mine, and Honestly, it was fun to do. I think the quality of ours will be all right. I think it'll be fun to watch, but just doing it was an absolute blast.
It was, dude. It was cool.
The outtakes are hilarious. I love to put a little reel of outtakes on.
Yes.
Because it's we only did a few takes of it.
Yeah.
But the things that you get hung up on or the things that you try to inflect on and it doesn't work are just hilarious. So
I think we did about 7 or 8 full takes.
Yeah.
3 of them, and we
we're
narrowed
right around there.
them down to 3, and we watched those 3
We had to.
a couple
Yeah,
times
yeah.
to figure out which one was the best. And there's a couple things I said, and this one I hated, but it was the best overall.
Right.
And again, it was kind of one of those things that we looked at this as kind of like the cross between they told us to do this amount of time, so we went exactly
Right
to
at
2
that
minutes.
time.
There's a bazillion other things that we can do, because I've been the same way. Like, when I played Nintendo RPI Baseball on Nintendo,
Right,
you
right.
remember that, RBI Baseball?
Absolutely, yeah.
I used to, like,
remember
keep,
Griffey.
like, my own stats of that game, and I used to do the same kind of thing.
I want to
That
say
was
too, when you went on the players, they gave you the previous year stats, like the back of a baseball card.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I might have played that game a little
A
bit.
little bit, me too.
A little bit, yeah.
Totally. So anyways, but that was like one of the most fun
Dude, that was so
things.
cool, man.
So
It was really, really cool.
How many did they get?
I wish I knew. I don't know. So far they posted 2. They posted ours.
Yeah.
And then one
And
today.
both
just
have
came
been
up
really
today.
good. So,
Yeah, the one today was really good.
Absolutely.
The one today was very much a more traditional, in
Yeah.
a good way. I would say a more traditional.
And I wonder how many people did it as teams and how many people did individual.
So Lee White, I think, did it by himself, right?
Okay.
On the council.
I knew
At
Lee
least
was gonna do it, yep.
I saw his picture he posted. I haven't seen his video yet. And Lee's a DJ, I think, right?
I know
Or
a couple
did a
guys that
DJ.
submitted a Spanish one.
Who
Yes.
did?
Oh,
A
that's
couple
cool.
guys that submitted them.
That's pretty
Spanish.
cool. Yeah.
I wonder if there's an
Diego.
easy way to do a feed where the video's the same, but they have a Spanish language channel.
I bet
That'd be a good idea.
I think that'd be awesome.
I'm gonna make a note of that right now.
Because
That's a
that,
good
you know what,
idea.
I'm
Send a
and
note to
that was
Andrew and say-
Diego and the other guy. I can't remember his
Nico.
name. Nico. They were good. Because you said
Oh,
I don't.
I met Nico today. He's the guy who used to work for Deportes,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't speak very good Spanish, but I love listening.
They're
to
both
their-
really good,
They're
dude.
really
and
good.
Diego has
Yeah.
a lot of experience. He's the one that won that trip to go down to the
World
World
Cup.
Cup last
Right on,
year.
right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. So
Yeah.
so
His
we
Spanish
joke-
is like real
Yeah.
proper, but still like cool and like slang,
Yeah,
like
exactly,
slang,
yeah.
and he's you can tell that he's got experience in training.
Totally, exactly. So the bottom line is, I would love to do that. Right?
Oh,
I mean,
it-
that would be
It's
like
so fun
If
to
we're
do.
one of the
Yeah.
if we're one of the 3 teams or 4 teams or whatever it ends up being, that would be fantastic. But the other reality is, there's a lot of people who are professional level
Right.
that
Really,
are gonna
really
kick
good
our
talent.
butt probably, and,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm more power to them, and I'm glad that S2 did this. So this is the kind of stuff I want to see personally. S2 continue
Definitely,
to do.
it's definitely
as a-
something that
as a
touches
park
with the
owner.
community. Exactly, dude. It touches with the community. It lets you
As I wear my
feel
scarf
like you're
before I
a
go.
part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something that you don't see this any other
No.
pro leagues, pro teams.
But that's the
do
thing.
stuff
I
like
think
that.
this club, this S2 club's doing a really great job of it, is engaging the fan base and bringing them in and making them part of it. All the way from the Founders Club to this opportunity to
Well, and
the open practice, which I know the first team does, but I can't think of any other sport where you can go in and sit on a practice and yell at the players right on the pitch, or anything. So it's really nice to be able to get that kind of connection to the team.
Exactly, dude.
Well,
I
so-
tell people that I imagine this is what like the '70s NBA, ABA type
Yes.
Right.
league was back then. Before where you can hang out with the players after games and just kind of like that closeness to the team.
Yeah.
It won't be this
Right.
way forever, probably.
Right.
Right.
No.
But-
No.
So this
Well, I mean, look at it right now. I mean, they're already having issues at first team training with a ton of people showing up.
Yeah.
Basically, after they signed Dempsey. But, the first 3 or 4 seasons, you go down there and it'd be one of about 6 or 7 people
Right.
at most.
Yeah.
But it's still cool. If you go now and you're one of 20, hey, you still it's only 20 people
Yeah.
hanging out.
Yeah.
Exactly. So on that note, so let's go on to the game a little bit. But again, hire us.
Yeah,
So
please,
hire
please.
us. Hire us. Oh, what was that? Wow. All right. And I was just gonna make a compliment. So as I complimented you on bringing on the youth in the future, I was gonna make a compliment of
No,
this
no,
jackass.
it's- I don't have anything to do with
But I think some of what you were just saying, Kyle, the reason that's happening is because of Andrew, who's a guest on the show.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
I'd love to have him back at some point once the season kind of gets moving and
Sure.
we kind of get things going. And then what Paul and the SCTS are doing. The trust, and then you're the face of it right now because you're here. But when we had you guys on, and we want to have you guys all back on as a group because I know
that'd be good.
I know Stephanie's watching. She wants to come back on, or sorry, come on because she couldn't come on that day because it was her birthday.
Right.
So
Happy birthday.
That was like 2 months ago. But
Happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
But the point, my point was, I think what's really strong and why this stuff's happening is because you guys are so strong. What we've done with the Alliance Council, you've taken a lot of that on, and you, at least from my own world, what I see, you've helped make some of this a reality with the help of the club, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the fact that they're open and they're willing to have us just drop by the office and come into meetings and stuff. You know, I mean, when they were first firing things up, if I happened to be there, Andrew would say, "Hey, you want to come and sit in on this meeting?" Yeah, sure. I don't know anything about logo design, but I'll sit there and tell you what I like and what I don't like. So you know, they're open to it, and it's part of what's made the Sounders so special the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
the access,
and they owe it to Drew Carey because he's the guy that pushed it at the very beginning to start with. So
yep, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, that's what I wanted to say. Is I think that what you've done, and again, I've only been on the Alliance Council for a year. This is my second year now. But watching you and then being involved in those discussions with SCP, to me, it's amazing, and I'm so excited about what's going on.
It is. It's cool.
Absolutely.
It's cool.
Well, and then you like my identity with the Sounders. I like the youth movement. I've always identified myself with the academies. U23 when it came about. Now with S2, I'm very excited about. It's nice to see someone like Garth come in, and his focus and the thing that he talks about is building from that youth and creating players for the first team. Yep. I think we did a good job of doing that. But maybe we missed a couple players or didn't give a few players that maybe were ready for a look, right? And I really think that this S2 is going to be that bridge that we were missing before.
Right, I agree.
And it saves us from missing like a Solomon
or a Fabio, who we had.
Right.
Solomon, yeah, for sure.
Solomon, a Fabio, one of those players. It gives them a home where they can build and they can make their case for the first team. It's absolutely it's an exciting time.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting to see what we can do.
So you guys went to practice today.
Mm-hmm.
I took my son to get shots for.
So
he is vaccinated. Good job. So that he can go to kindergarten. That we told him. He was all excited. He got to the doctor and he held his arm out and said, "I'm ready for my shot."
Yeah.
Because he knows he gets to go to kindergarten.
That's
if
good.
He gets a shot.
That's cool. That's cool.
So and then we also told him afterwards when he's crying, we're like, "You help somebody else though, because you're vaccinated. You help someone who can't get vaccinated."
Right.
So
Right.
that helped him
Absolutely.
kind of calm down a little, which is kind of cool.
Right.
But anyway, so you guys went to practice, and I'm kind of like, oh, I wanted to be there so bad. So you guys talk about it a little bit.
It was a good practice.
You want to start?
Yeah, we saw.
So how many people were there? Like 30, 40 people?
There was about 30. I would say about 30 players.
For fans?
Fans.
Oh, fan-wise,
15, 20.
20.
Okay, 20.
I think
Okay,
20 is a
that's
good
pretty
round number.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then 30 players.
Roughly about 30 players.
Yep.
Yeah. Approximately about 30 players. Most of the staff, we saw Garth there. Garth was still in town, so that was cool to see him there. A lot of the players came out, saw some familiar faces. A lot of new faces. I have no idea who they were.
So you're a guy who follows the academy and does all that stuff.
Try to follow college as much as I could.
You told me like only 8 out of 30
I was
recognize?
Yeah, comfortable identifying about 8, maybe 9 players out of the 30. So there's a lot of new fresh faces. A lot of players get to learn. We had some great academy players on field though, so definitely a lot to be excited if you follow academy. We're really strong in midfield, especially with our academy players that were there. There was a goalkeeper there that looked familiar, but I can't place the name, and I don't want to say a name and it be wrong.
Right. Yeah.
But
he looked familiar.
He did look very familiar. I can run through the names real quick.
I love it. Yeah, great.
So from our academy, the players I saw were Isidro Prado Huerta.
Yep. Who's played in the Sonar Feed tournament?
He has.
Yes.
And he's won the Federal Weight Cup.
The first year, right? Or the
2
second
years ago.
The first 2.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Duncan McCormick was there.
Okay. But he was playing at the Stars.
He was just playing with the Stars recently. Jamel Cox, another academy player, also played with the Stars.
That's right.
Along with his brother Raphael. Raphael
Cox.
Cox.
Okay.
Relation or no relation?
Yeah, it's his brother.
To you.
I have no idea.
Oh.
But they're black dudes, so I'm guessing
probably not. Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
Danny Fernandez from Bellevue College was there. As Chambers ECS just said.
All right.
College
Yeah, I was not familiar with
Okay.
that. So yeah, absolutely. One of the players
That was the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
that might have been him then. Okay,
Okay.
all right, yeah. I know I've seen him around before, but I couldn't place the name. One of the players I've been really excited about and haven't seen a whole lot as far as Sounders play. I know he's been on U23 a little bit, but Troy Peterson, which in my opinion is one of the best midfielders we've had come through the academy,
Okay.
which is saying a lot because we
Yeah.
have a lot of talent.
Do you think he's one of the best midfielders?
I will go on record saying he's one of the best midfielders we've ever had come through the academy. Absolute talent.
Wow.
From Federal Way, went to Todd Beamer High
So
School.
that's why he's the best.
Federal Way
That's right.
represented 253.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he was out there, looked really good.
Okay.
Had some good touches on the ball. Another one, Chase Hansen, a good defender, was out there, played for Seattle U. Some of our draftees were out there. Eric Craven was still in town. He was out there.
Okay, so he was out there.
Yeah, him and Pablo Rossi was also there, the Argentinian.
Yep.
Those two linked up really well. They played a small-sided side together, a little small-sided game. Those two linked up really well. We're communicating with each other on where they wanted the other to be, on passes and everything.
Just
You
chemistry
can kind of
wise,
see that
positioning.
chemistry was
Yeah.
there, and they were
Yeah.
building on it. Rossi scored a great goal. Craven set him up a couple of times on a really good, touch pass, one
Nice.
touch. It was good to see, really good to see. Some of the other guys, unfamiliar faces. There was a left back, at least he played in the left back position on the small side. He was real deft on his touch, took a really good first touch, set up a lot of plays, little back heel to set up a chance.
Was it a cute little back heel?
It was
a back pass?
it was a cheeky back heel. Yes. But there was some really good talent on display. There were absolutely a lot to be excited about. The field's very large. We'll see how they cut it down and how they dwindle it down. We had a lot of international players there.
Okay.
There was a translator on the side. We weren't sure if it was for the. There was
Any
a South
players- any
Korean.
players from Mexico?
Might have been. We didn't have access to the players that really talked to them very much. But there was a player from Japan. There was obviously the Argentinian
Right.
with Pablo Rossi. There was a South Korean player. There was a player there from Brazil that we got to talk to a little bit after the match.
Yep.
Really nice kid. Hope he does well. But we had a lot of international talent. They told us that there was
that's
3
huge,
players
man.
from the Vegas Combine that were at this practice. There was also 3 players invited back from the local combine, or the local tryouts, that were also there.
And one of those was Trialist 269, we think.
Oh, and we thought we had him.
Okay, but that was the
Wheeler
Brazilian.
Wheeler had misinformation. So the whole time we were under
You
the
were
assumption
stalking him.
The player that we thought was Trialist 269 actually turned out to be the player from Brazil.
Okay.
So that was the Brazilian player that he had a photo of. So 269 is still somewhere out there. The hunt continues.
The hunt continues.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So a lot of real positive play, a lot of really good touches on the ball. Some of the goalkeeping was really well done. I would definitely recommend going out and watching this.
Well, yeah. So they just posted on the website on SoundersFC.com the practice schedule for the rest of the week.
Correct.
There's a match or a scrimmage on Thursday at 4:30, I think it was,
Yep.
and then Saturday at 1, if I
At 1.
recall correctly.
And it's
those are on
University of Portland on Saturday, correct?
3 and 4. Fields 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
But if you go to the SoundersFC.com, you'll find the link there.
So-
and I'm sure I'll retweet it when I get home.
So
But-
Fields 3 and 4, when you go into the Starfire Complex, you have the stadium. It's right on the backside of the
Backside of
stadium.
that. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just north of the
Okay.
stadium.
Yeah, because I'm thinking I'm home on. I got a 5 o'clock flight, and I'm home on like midnight-ish on Wednesday night.
I would
So I'm gonna try and go Thursday
definitely
night.
recommend going and
Yeah,
watching.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
try and
no,
go.
absolutely.
Saturday was probably blown out.
And Saturday I might be able to go to as well.
It's
But-
pretty entertaining. There's
Yeah.
some good talent on that team for sure. So.
I want to go so bad. So how about you? What was your impression today? Kind of, were you there more as a fan, or were you there from the SCT side of it? Were you there
Well, I
both?
felt like
or?
as SCT I should be there, but I'm always a fan. So that's
yeah.
I don't know enough about evaluating talent to be able to tell. All I know is that all of these guys were like legendarily better than I am. so they're so much better. They're like playing a whole nother game. However, I also beforehand was inside and I was watching the little kids play.
Okay.
And even the little kids were so much better than I was when I was that age.
Yeah.
Right. And I played on like a silver select team. And so it's funny to me the level of soccer and how much it's changed.
improving.
And then I got to talking to Cam Collins.
Okay.
And we were talking about how much better the Sounders are now than they were like in 2009.
Yeah.
And a level of MLS just between 2009
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
now. Yeah, coming into now. And it really is remarkable. And I met Nico. And we talked a little bit about that and about the level of soccer and how much better it is and how awesome it is now that we're going to have a second team and we're going to have this development. We're going to have, part of an organizational plan from the time these guys are, they're going to start a U13 thing next year. It'll be a national U13 development academy.
Right. That's great.
So the academy is literally going to go all the way down to 12-year-olds.
That's great.
And so there's going to be a system from 12 to 40, essentially, if you have.
And this is cool, man. Like what he said about having all these guys, so much international talent. I think it makes us better when you have people coming out from Japan, from Brazil, from Argentina.
And I mean, Pablo, I'm a big fan of Pablo, so I'm a little biased, but he had some great touches. He had some great shots on goal. And it's just one of those things that challenges the guys even that much more to stay up with that kind of quality. Right. So you bring in quality, and it keeps even the local guys. They got it. Even if you're a homegrown player, you need to match that quality.
Right. We're always going to be partial a little bit to the 253 guys or the local guys. Right. We're always going to have that love. But
I'm always going to be partial. To
yeah.
that.
But I just like
no question.
I just like the talent. I mean, and that's why like when Oba came on, I'm not comparing him to this, but when Oba came on, I was like, when we started hearing his name, I went and searched him out and did some reading, and I was like. I was drooling about the fact that we could get like that level of quality of a guy.
Not just his thighs. But
Well, his thighs came later. I realized how good his thighs were later. But
after a couple of photos of games,
it's like yesterday. Oh my god.
No, I missed it.
Oh,
real quick
down
though.
in Arizona. Oh my god.
I wanted to call in here. Victor Cardoso. That is the player I was talking about.
He's a midfielder forward
for Sao Paulo.
Nice.
Right. Very good player. That was the one we thought was Trilus 269. Okay. Was not Trilus 269. Trilus 269 scored 4 goals yesterday.
4 or 3?
4.
Okay, I heard 3.
Well, he reported 3. He just redacted the statement and said it was 4.
Okay.
It was kind of a mix-up because he thought it was an own goal on the goalie, but it turns out he claimed it off of his chest. So he told him that he wanted to do it.
Wow.
So we're still trying to figure out who Trilus 269 is.
All right.
But yes, that is the Brazilian player that I'm talking about.
But for me, what it is the excitement is just how much better American soccer is getting. I mean, just every year.
Yeah.
And how awesome it is that Seattle is one of the epicenters of that, right?
Completely.
Absolutely.
I mean,
We are in the right smack in the
It's something
middle.
I asked Andrew once. I said, do you feel like, USL salaries being what USL salaries are, right? They're going to barely be enough for these guys to live on, and only be a soccer player. A lot of them are going to have other jobs. I said, but if you're going to do that with a chance to get into a super professional program and maybe make your way up to the first team, but more importantly, develop yourself as a player, would you rather do that for Seattle or for Colorado? Would you rather do that for Seattle or for, Columbus or somebody like that?
Yeah.
And not to say that those programs can't come along, because they can. Lagerway the other day, mentioned the fact that he feels like they had better development of some of the young guys at Salt Lake than they had here in Seattle.
Yep.
But that's because they have to, right? They had to do that.
Right.
So they already had a residency academy there for kids that are high school.
Which is huge. Residency is huge. But it's also a huge investment.
Well, and Dave's article about doing the whole college piece of it, like LA Galaxy.
That was a great. That was a great
article.
article.
I was like, that is like.
That's,
thank you so much.
Yeah.
So
that gets to both
But that's all stuff that's you got to figure Seattle has as much of an advantage over all these other teams in the league because if you're from anywhere else in the world, if you're an international, you're only going to have heard of 2 or 3 teams.
Right.
Seattle, LA, New York, maybe.
On that Dave piece, so that is a huge thing for a lot of these guys' decision to come to S2. Yeah. They know that their career's only going to last so long, and they have to have something to fall back on afterwards.
Yes.
They need the schooling. A lot of these guys. Without saying names, have issues with getting grades.
Yes, right.
And that's why S2 is so great, is because college isn't necessarily for everyone.
No, it's
right.
not.
But if you're able to go and continue your education and have a career path after soccer, because not everyone's going to play till they're 35, 40.
No, exactly.
So it gives them an opportunity to kind of have that safety
plan.
net, right, after they
Which
play.
is something we ask, and every single time we have one of the kids on here, we
Absolutely.
always ask about that. We ask them about what they're doing for studies, and I go into my dad moment, and I tell them, go to school, do this, or else have a path so that, because Listen, I
it's-
mean, when you're sitting next to the guy, you don't want to tell him, hey, you know what, you're really good, but you're not going to be like a first teamer.
Right, I don't see you beating
You
out
gotta
Clint
earn it.
You're not
Dempsey.
going to beat Dempsey
but,
yet.
but do school, do hard. You can have a good life and have fun.
And beyond that, even a guy who does have an opportunity
Right.
at that, you look like a guy like Steve Zakuani, who
Oh,
was, one of the
Yeah.
brightest lights
Yeah.
in MLS.
Yeah.
Crappy tackle.
Things happen.
Boom,
Yeah.
done.
He's done.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
That's a great way to put it.
So,
You're right,
so
dude, totally.
even you could even still be one of the best guys
Yeah.
and have to do that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
100% agree.
Yep. So if you don't have an offer towards a school, or maybe like you said, they got the grade issue or something.
Right.
It's good for the guys that in the future. Well, maybe MLS or the Sounders can come up with a program like LA did.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Amazing.
We've
man.
had some great talent that's come out of the academy that have had to take a year off basically to get their AA so that they could meet D1 requirements to go
Right.
to a school. And
That's,
Highline's a great program. I love Highline.
Yep.
But it's not challenging to these kids.
For
they're
soccer-
already
for
they're
soccer
already
level.
above that
Correct.
level. So
Yeah.
it's really a stunt in the development and the growth of these
Which is-
players.
And that's
Right.
a
Which
year
is-
at that
that's a
age
whole
is
year
terrible
missed.
for their
year.
development years, those years are the most critical,
Absolutely.
man. So,
Absolutely.
so
Like,
having S2 now
it's
as an
huge.
option,
And
is
we've
gonna be
had
amazing.
some big names that have had to go that route of getting their AA to be able to play for these D1 schools.
Yep.
So yeah, it's huge that we can now offer S2 as a
Yep.
as a path for them. So and then to be able to offer them also that college is brilliant. That would be a huge thing for them. So
I hope it
I
happens.
hope
And
we see that.
You got to
yeah.
believe with this team, with what they've done, and we know the ownership. I mean, you know them better than I do, but having said that, they know what they're doing, and they're looking at that.
Yeah,
3 and 5 years ahead. They're already thinking about that.
Dave's
kind of
piece of
stuff.
Sounder Heart was definitely a challenge a little bit to the team.
It was.
I know that from conversations with those guys, we can't get into details
Yeah.
because they ask you not to, but I know that amongst the very highest leadership of the team, they do see that. They do feel a moral obligation. Say they take a
care
kid
of them,
that
right.
might be borderline, and it's like, yeah, you know what? You have a chance at MLS career, but maybe as a backup. And if we take you from high school, throw you into S2 and you played, and now you're 26 and you get cut, and you could have gone to college and you didn't take it. Now, what's our moral obligation
Yeah,
to that?
exactly.
And the team is thinking about that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the other part of it is in the long run, I think, as MLS continues to gain in revenue, they'll do it. They'll do it they'll do something like guys that go into major or minor league baseball, and they get a deal where, all right, it includes this and this, and then if you 5 years from now, if you're not in major leagues, we'll give you a 4-year scholarship, essentially.
Yeah.
It'll be the state school, so you're
Right,
not going
right,
to go to Stanford or something like that, but we're going to give you the money. Hopefully MLS will develop to that point where they can afford it.
Right. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That makes
Absolutely.
sense, man.
All right, so we have a couple of comments and questions. If you guys are watching, if you have any questions here live, obviously as always, or if you have any questions on here, let me know. But I got a couple of comments here. Thank you for the comment that was tagged to Ezra to get him on the show. I
That's
like
awesome.
that. I'm okay with that. That's good. Bring Ezra on. SSFC Rumors, talking back to our comments a few minutes ago about the going on the 5 to 6 years comments. Look at Arlo's rise from English to then the Sounders to the national MLS guy on NBC to EPL.
EPL, right.
And I mean, his career granted, or what I've seen so far are not Arlo quality, but
But you gotta start somewhere.
we gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a great
You don't,
commentary.
you don't just film your first audition and get the EPL contract. Like you got to start somewhere you build off it, right?
then-
right.
I'll tell you what, Arlo put in 40, 50 hours a week outside of games,
Oh, yeah.
too.
And it showed though. I
Yeah,
mean, that
all
hard
the
work
time.
showed.
The guy,
Yeah,
guy watched
absolutely
every game in
brilliant,
MLS, was at practices all the time. Yeah, he was very, very heavily involved.
Yeah.
So I've been watching every single minute of soccer I possibly can watch on any channel since this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I already did anyways.
Yeah, no.
But now I've gone a
Even
little bit
more?
over the top.
And you're paying
Now,
attention to the
have
announcers
you-
now,
I am.
right?
I
Yes.
am.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now,
Because I
too.
used to be a real critical, and I
Yeah.
still am critical, but
Yes.
I am listening to him in a whole different light.
Yeah.
A different light now than I was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, no question.
Have you watched
No
one,
question.
put it on mute, and try to do it?
I have, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's
There
kind
you
of
go.
difficult,
Yeah,
but
it
it's
is,
fun.
it
Yeah,
is.
It's
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of fun. It's a lot. And then his comment, his other comment here from SSFC Rumors, any taglines that you plan to use if you get the S2 voice position? And it's like, I don't know. I haven't even thought that far ahead. I'm definitely gonna use cute little back pass. That's definitely
It's
going to be in my
must.
repertoire.
It's a must.
Get to piss somebody off, so I'm
Yes.
definitely going to use that one. But
I'm going to stick with,
But,
oh, yeah.
oh yeah.
We were having fun with skates. Put them on skates. Yeah, we were doing that. Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that's good. But really, I think at the end of the day, if this ever happens, it's really about just being ourselves and having a good
Yeah,
time.
no,
Totally.
I
absolutely.
mean, we're not going to change ourselves and go. And I'm going to try and work on my British
British
accent.
accent. So many people commented, you guys need
You gotta
British.
need a British, yeah,
You
yeah.
have to go British.
I'm about 12%
Hello,
British.
governor.
So.
Automatically.
Yeah. Chips the cherry in the onion bag. Yeah, oh yeah.
Here's something I don't know about. Asking about new kits and/or new refs for S2. So I don't know about where the refs are going to come from for that. I don't know if you know anything about that or the kits.
USL refs, to the best of my knowledge, are provided by Pro, which is the professional referees organization.
Same organization.
Same organization that does MLS refs. And the way they do it is, in USL, I'm guessing they're probably a little bit more regional, so that they don't incur a lot of travel costs.
Right. Sure.
But there's a whole like pyramid of refereeing like there is for soccer. Because I'm in it now. I've started, and I can get up to where I can assign myself like U13, U14, U15 games, but not all of them. Like the Washington Premier, I
Right.
can't self-assign those games because my level of refereeing, my rating in the system is not high enough for that. Because it's one of the
You
top.
have to put into hours. So many hours.
And then you also get rated, right? You get rated by those guys. So there's
okay.
there's
By
these
who?
local
by the teams.
yeah, not by the
the
teams,
coach.
but by the other referees. There's like a whole
Oh,
referee
oh,
organization,
okay.
and they've got assessors, and you can actually ask. You can say, "Hey, I want a guy to come and mentor me. I'm going to work 2 or 3 games this weekend at this field. If there's somebody free, and it's one of these experienced guys, they'll come down and they'll give you tips. You should have positioned here. You should have done this. When this guy did this, you should have done this." And it's critical. I mean, it's
Do you want
really
another drink,
critical.
Kyle?
We're ordering drinks.
All right. Well, yeah. Start part.
So, so for USL,
Priorities.
when
No, bourbon?
as you move
go
into
with it,
that,
yeah.
Bourbon. Yeah.
there's actually a whole rating system, and they know who the young up and coming referees are.
Okay.
I mean, they there's 2 or 3 guys in this state that are like I worked with one of them. I got lucky. Got to work with one of them at a featherweight tournament last summer. This kid was 19. He was phenomenal. I looked at him. I thought, you could go out and referee MLS right now. You're that good.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was and this kid has won a scholarship. It's like a referee scholarship, and they send him off to these national tournaments, and he'll ref games
There's
all week.
referee
pretty cool.
scholarships.
Yeah. It's just by the
Shut
referee.
up.
No, by the referee organization, and they send them off to go do games and stuff. So for the USL,
That's freaking cool. Man.
yeah, this
That is cool,
organization has identified who the up and coming good referees are, and let's face it, good is in quotes because when a referee's calling to your team, anything he calls against you is the worst call he ever made,
of
right?
course, of
Any
course.
call he goes against the Timbers is the best call he ever made.
Greatest ever.
Yes, absolutely.
Greatest.
Absolutely. But it's funny, and referees are hard asses. They're critical on each other too. They'll sit there
I
and
bet,
watch each
man.
other
I
game.
bet.
But it's if you can handle it, you keep moving up. If you can't, then after a while you fade out. But that's where the USL refs come from. It is through there are professional
Do you
refs.
know what MLS refs make, salary-wise? Just curious.
Well, they've got like 6 or 8 full-timers now, and those guys make like 40 to 80 a year, something like that. Yeah,
That's it, huh?
yeah. It's
Plus
not
expenses. Plus travel expenses.
Well, yeah, their travel is covered, so that's the good news. But
not bad. That's not bad.
Well, I guess it's true because they probably have other jobs in the off season, maybe.
It depends on the guys. The ones that are pros are full-time professionals.
So they're only making 40 to 80K.
I'm just guessing. There was a really good article on Fox last year about it that talked about the referees. But for USL game, guy, the center's probably making $1,200
For the game.
maybe $1,000
For the game.
Yeah, probably less than that.
Okay.
Because I know high-level
Plus
college
travel.
games are several $100s.
Okay. All right.
You know, yeah. If you get, and those they'll invite referees,
Oh yeah, I bet.
right? They'll be like, oh yeah, this guy's good. We want him to come up and referee this game. Yeah, so that's where they get the referees. So ironically, those USL games, the guys that you see that are refereeing are also developmental, and so you might see them in MLS in a year or 2 or 3 down the road.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's cool. Okay, that's really cool.
They're part of
I
the.
had no idea about
Well,
that.
yeah,
makes
because
makes
it's the
sense.
younger guys. Because the MLS guys sometimes aren't going to do it.
Right.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, guys like
They
Toledo
gotta
or
get their practice
Salazar
in time, too.
will get sent out to
Yeah.
do Open Cup games,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's
Right.
2 USL teams play.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. But not a USL game. That's the Open Cup game.
No, they might do it in a USL game
Okay.
too, depending on the holes in the schedule and so
But I
forth.
know some of them are doing like NASL games as well.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, second division.
So-
You bet.
So
Yeah.
the question about the kit though, that's kind of something I'm interested about because USL is a Nike, right? Is
I
it
think
USL?
it's team by team.
Is it team by team?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
All
so.
right.
It used to be a Nike only
Nike one,
league,
yeah.
but I
Okay.
think
I
it's
was
team
gonna
by
wonder
team.
what if they're gonna allow the Adidas because it was a Nike, but if it's changed.
No, Sounders are wearing their stuff, so.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Why redo everything you already have?
Yeah, okay. All right, so then the other comment here, back to the whole idea of having the players involved, or the people involved. Felix Forever 34 asks, player escorts for S2? Are the first years going to be founders' kids? Are they going to do? Have we heard anything about escorts and all that kind of stuff?
We don't have that finalized yet. We don't know how that's going to go.
Okay.
I'd like for that to be the case, but there might be some other things going on with that. So yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but all those things, because I know, I know that the Sounders front office is reaching out to people. Because I've seen it on Twitter, as well as they contacted me about people who are involved with Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and that kind of stuff for flag holders and
Yeah,
stuff
they're
like
lining
that,
up.
right? So
they're lining
doing
up a ton of that
community
kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is cool to see though that they're really reaching out to the community, and those that are involved in the community already are being asked about that.
Yes,
and
exactly.
So that's really cool to see that.
Yeah,
Back to
it is
the whole
really good.
conversation.
Yeah, and the gal that's running at it for the Sounders, Lauren, is
she's so amazing.
sharp. Yeah,
Oh my
she's
God.
a really great gal. She is
Who is?
very, very
Lauren.
sharp. Lauren.
So she's the one who, when my daughter got to walk out the players, she was the one who handled all that.
Oh,
and
okay.
talk about, you got like 40 kids in that room.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's like herding
they're
cats.
and it is. I never felt like worried about letting my kids just go with
Yeah,
it.
right.
Because she and her team were
Yeah,
just
she's awesome.
so on top of it.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
the Sounders
that's so pros.
they have some really awesome people working for them.
They really
and
do.
that's one thing that
And
I've been
hopefully
able
they'll
to do
keep
this.
that up and hire a couple people from the show.
How
Just
many
saying.
times?
Are they
Drake-
paying for
Drake-
that too?
I have no idea.
Hashtag just saying.
I don't think we're getting paid for that, but just like we don't get paid for Sparkle Donkey and the
Yeah.
No,
Casso,
we still
but
drink it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
still
all
drink it
right.
because we
yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. So that's the question part of it there.
Okay.
So let's see. Now where do we want to go? So we got about 10 minutes left on the regular show. We'll do a quick post game, maybe I guess, probably because kind of things are flowing pretty good. But that was it on that part of it. So anybody else have any questions there? Holler away. Where should we go next? Because it's kind of like
I don't know. Yeah,
what
it
else
was.
do we talk about?
I'll talk about the S2 a little more, I guess.
There we go. Let's go back to this too.
Yeah, we Coach Ezra came out and addressed the crowd, the small crowd that was there, and kind of
Love
let
to
us
have
know
you on,
what's going
Coach.
on.
Love to have you on,
Yeah,
Coach.
Ezra,
Come on now.
please come on. Came out and let us know what was going on. Kind of gave us an update on what was going to happen throughout the week. It was cool to see Garth out there.
Yeah.
So hold on, he came out and talked to all the fans down there?
Ezra did, not
Yeah,
Garth.
Ezra
Ezra
did.
did,
Ezra
Yeah,
did,
yeah, the coach.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
pretty
came
brief.
over.
It was,
That's cool, dude. Like,
yeah.
how many
No, it's
coaches,
really cool.
You know,
Yeah.
that's
Totally
cool.
didn't have to. Yeah, it was nice for him to
But it
come
was
over.
it was fun to see him do that. Siggy do that at the first Sounders practice too.
Similar to that.
Okay.
Very similar to that. He kind of gave us an idea of how long the practice was going to last, what they were going to do, focus on that day, the dates and times for the other practices throughout the week, so we can come back and watch the team.
Dude, that's I think that's so class. Like, acknowledgement of the fans. It took the time to go there. Not just
It means a lot.
having them there.
Right.
You know, they're acknowledging. They're saying,
Right.
hey, this is
Right.
what's going down. It's almost like a thank you for being
Well, and
here.
I don't know if it was on
That's-
purpose, but for their final stretches, they came over, stopped in front of us, did their stretches. We kind of got to clap for them, say good job today, fellas, stuff like that. I don't know if that was on purpose. I'd like to think it was. It was a nice little way to say, good job to the players.
But how cool is it to be like a trialist or like somebody who's just there and have that many? I mean, okay, 15 or 20 people.
Oh, we
you
sang.
said.
We
You
sang
did
for him.
sing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, about half
Yeah.
dozen of us sang.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
See,
yeah, it was
that's
fun.
great.
It was
That
fun.
is-
Yeah, it was a
And
good
these
experience.
guys
I had a
got
good
these
time.
looks on their faces like it was the first time anybody ever sang for them at
Right.
practice,
Yeah.
which I
Right.
think is probably
Probably
it
was.
probably
Yeah,
was.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
I mean, how many times do you do training and every time you come around in front of the fans,
People
that-
clap
And
for
that's
you.
part.
Yeah.
That's part of getting ready for that pro
Yeah, yeah,
level
absolutely.
preparation.
And that's something that Andrew Apokowitz has actually talked about quite a bit. And there's somebody that he quotes, and he says, you're not really a professional until you've played in front of paying fans, right?
Right.
And there's something that happens with that. And of course, Starfire being our fortress, and hopefully it sells out every single game, those guys will develop more than the guys that are playing in front of several dozen or a
Yeah.
couple
Right,
hundred
right.
in other
Absolutely.
stadiums.
100% agree.
Which was the case before S2. That's our own
Yeah,
academy.
'cause
Yeah,
I went to a lot of
absolutely.
reserve games.
Absolutely.
And they were some of them were decent, but most of them were pretty empty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh, SSFC rumors asked assistant coaches on hand, what's Jimmy's role? Jimmy was there, Troyori. He came out after and talked to us a little bit and everything. He looks like the assistant coach. I would imagine that's his role. He looked like he was doing assistant coach duties or something along those lines. Didn't really have a full conversation with him. Just kind of said, "Hi, Jimmy." You know.
I love
how's it
seeing him
going?
back, though. I love seeing him here.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you like it?
So-
You want to talk about it?
I can't say.
Oh, he can't say.
Yeah, no, I'll say
Okay.
because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
My
We're gonna
my
listen- no,
feelings
okay, we're
as
just
far
gonna
as
let
what
you
I
go away
saw.
for a minute.
Yeah, from what
No
from
te veo.
what, from what I saw and from the interaction he had, he looked like he was maybe along the lines of an assistant coach duty or someone.
How freaking
along those
cool is
lines.
that to have a guy that played in the EPL?
Incredible.
Came over here, played
that
for
kind of
us,
history.
With
Yeah.
that history,
Oh,
and
yeah.
now he wants to be here. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because he wants money in the job. I don't know, but there's more to it. It feels like. I love that.
Any word on Mansour? Vic is down in Arizona with the first
First
team.
team, which is great. I love
And
that.
how many players out of the 30 do you think will come down to Arizona?
Are they going down to Arizona?
I don't think
for that
any
too?
of them
No,
are
I don't
going
think
to
they're going to
Arizona.
Arizona.
No,
No.
I
No,
think
what
they're
he's
all
saying is
staying
how many are coming from the people that went to Arizona will drop down to S2.
Okay.
So
I
you
would
got
say,
20 or
again,
30 down in Arizona.
Yeah.
How many of those guys are going to wind up playing for us too?
Half a dozen.
Right.
I
I think
think-
you'll have your 18, but we might
Well,
see a lot of interlacing between the 11 to 18 in the S2 roster.
I think the overall roster is something like 25-ish to 23,
Right.
25.
But we don't know because of the
with
CBA, right?
CBA, right.
Right,
It's
you
kind
can
of
have
a question, yeah.
five academies playing up,
Right.
5 MLS playing down, and the rest are S2 that are strictly S2. And you got to hope that most of those are going to be people that are potentials and developing,
Right.
but we're not sure. But you know, I mean, you also need to win.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
right.
winning is its own training in a way.
absolutely.
And winning is
Right.
learned.
Yep.
And so, you know, you might want to use a few of those roster slots on guys that are not necessarily a prospect. You know,
Yeah.
you get some guys 25, 24, 25, 26, maybe 27. And it's like, yeah, you know, at best, you're going to be a backup. You're going to be in the 18 for an MLS game or maybe an MLS Open Cup, you know, round type of a thing. But we need you for us too, because it's like Crash Davis, right? In Bull Durham, you know, the grizzled old catcher
Right,
that's
right.
never
Yeah.
good enough to play in the bigs, but they're going to have him around in AAA to teach
Right.
the young guys how to
Absolutely.
do things,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So I haven't asked Andrew, but I'm always curious how much of that is going to go into building the roster,
Right.
right?
So,
You want
okay,
you
let's
want
use
you want
an
that one or two guys there to kind of show those younger players. You know.
It was like the people that were speculating that the first player coach for S2 and the best guy they could hire would be Zach Scott,
Scott, yeah.
right.
right? Because he's going to go in and say, we always beat the Timbers.
Yeah, exactly. You need that though. You know, yeah, exactly, absolutely.
So, okay, but let's use an example. This is my own thought here. Let's look at somebody like a trialist
Right.
who played for us, now plays for the Whitecaps.
Okay.
Amaro Rosales. You bring a guy like that in. Maybe we don't think he's going to be good enough to play on the first team. At that point, you don't think he is,
Okay.
right? Where do you bring a guy like that in? Do you bring him in and put him? I mean, granted, okay, he showed his ability, and so maybe that's a bad example. Maybe that's a bad example. But you look at someone like that. Would he have dropped down to S2 for a little while to play, to build up? Had he been injured to come back, or a Pineda?
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, is that something that we could see more of?
Yeah,
we could have
who
that
knows,
like the
you know?
fringe.
Yeah, it depends on
30-year-old, 32-year-old guy come
Yeah,
over too.
Well, you know, you could see guys that maybe like the APAM, right? The
Yeah,
Nigerian
yeah,
dude
yes,
that was a
correct,
defender.
right.
And he's trying to get back into soccer. He doesn't
Yeah,
want to quit.
right.
He's trying to play out the string, right?
Yep.
Maybe instead of signing him to the MLS minimum and you know, paying him 30 or 35 grand to hope that he can work it out, instead he goes
Sign
and
him
plays
for-
for us too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And if nothing else, as long as you get guys of good character, they're going to teach the young guys
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
That's
how to be a pro.
exactly 100% agree. That's
And it's
Yeah.
it's always important to have those kind of players.
It's critical, man. It's
Yeah.
super
Right.
critical. Because if I'm a player, who am I going to trust more than someone who's been there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Who's been
Some dude
there?
that's played in a World
Yeah.
Cup game or,
Yeah.
you know, just a coach that's yelling at you.
Yeah, exactly.
absolutely.
I had a question from Sarah regarding Andy Bevan. I didn't personally see him, but like I said, there's a field of 30.
Yeah.
I could have missed his face in there.
Right. Right.
But,
and that's just it.
but
The
I
first
can't
practice-
I can't confirm that Bevan was there.
And let's be honest. How many times do they start practice and they don't have the full roster there because of whatever?
Well,
Somebody
and-
might have an excused absence for a day
Right.
because they
Bevan-
had something else going on.
Bevan was one of the drafted players, so
Right.
he was been with the team,
Yeah.
but I didn't see him there today. Also, there was, I believe Ezra tweeted out that there's a player that's stuck on the East Coast due to
the
weather
snow, okay.
that isn't here yet, so you might see him tomorrow or later
exactly.
this week. But that's another player we didn't get to see today. So.
Don't put too much into it the first day either,
No,
right?
right,
I mean,
right.
all these things.
And that was
all these things here. You know,
that
you
was
can't-
kind of explained to us is that a lot of these guys are really nervous right now. They're
my
uncomfortable. They're really
Yeah.
trying to win their spot on this team. So.
Are you thinking about opening up those
I'm
cookies?
thinking about it, dude.
All right, let's do this. Let's take. I'm assuming you guys can stay for a few minutes.
Sure.
Yep.
We're gonna take a quick break. One of the things we found is that if we go past an hour with our recording, for some reason UStream kind of goes poopy on us.
Right.
So we're gonna kill the. We're gonna do our Wonka.
Before we do that, let me ask a question. Which box should we open up first right now to snack on? Samoas or tagalongs? Let us know which one we get.
Open the Samoas because I won't eat any.
Let us know which one to open up.
All right, so we're going to come back. We're going to do a quick post-game show. We're going to talk about, we have a couple questions here. We have one question I want to talk about, the strike. Someone asked the strike.
Oh,
So I think it's a good, I think it's a good question to talk about a little bit. So, all right, so Paul, thank you. Kyle, thank you. We're going to
Thanks
come right
for
back.
having me, yeah.
Hugo, as always,
Pleasure is always yours.
always mine. We'll be right back, boys and girls.
When does he get it?
He doesn't,
Why not?
because he broke the rules.
What rules? We didn't see any rules, did we, Charlie?
Wrong, sir, wrong. Wrong, sir, wrong. Wrong, sir, wrong. Wrong, sir, wrong. You lose a contract signed by him. You get washed. You get sterilized. You get nothing. Good day. You lose. Wrong, sir, wrong. I said wrong, sir, wrong. You get wrong, sir, wrong. I said wrong, sir, wrong. You lose. Black and white, all there. Black and white, all there. Black and white, all there. Clear as crystal. You lose. Good day, nothing. You get 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 nothing. You get nothing. You get nothing. Clear as crystal. You lose. Black and white, all there. Black and white, all there. Black and white, all there. Clear as crystal. You lose. Pax mentis incendium gloria culpa memo bis punitor della casta, etc.
You're a swindler.
Wrong, sir, wrong.
You're a cheat.
Wrong, sir, wrong.
You're a swindler.
Wrong,